welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate your subscriptions. This is the Tarotscope for the year for 2021 for the sign of Leo. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Leo, you may want to watch this video. If you have heavily placed planets in Leo, like 3 or more planets, you might want to watch this video also, because this could have some sort of effect or be taking place during your year in 2021. With my readings, they are broad spectrum, so they're intended for quite a few people with both sun, moon, and rising or heavily placed planets. Therefore, some of it may make sense and some of it may not. If anything doesn't make sense, that's completely fine. It doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means that you might be working on something different. Your planets might be, other planets or signs, the signs that your other planets might be in might be having a bigger effect during 2021, or it could be the houses that your planets were in. All of those things factor in. This is supposed to just be kind of a broad overview of an idea of what may happen month by month throughout the year. I will say this too, each month is represented by a singular card, so that's a 30 to 31 days of life, all represented in one tarot card. So it's going to be, there's room for adjustment or whatever, if that makes sense. So don't take, everything I say exactly, but, apply it where it fits. If you do make any decisions in regards to your life, after having watched any of my videos or this video in particular, know that those decisions are your responsibility. Never take anything that I say over a professional in their field, in their given field, i.e. like a doctor or lawyer or a therapist. Always listen to their suggestions or advice first and foremost, and trust your own intuition and your own intelligence also above all else. So let's get into this and see what's going to happen here for the Leos for 2021. Just want to get a really good shuffle going on. Okay, Leo, let's see. This first card represents for January. I love it. So this is the Hierophant. So this is Major Arcana. So January is going to be probably a significant month for you guys, just because we're leading with a Major Arcana card. The Hierophant, I believe, is the sign of, is it Virgo? I think it's Virgo. I have to double check that, but I think it's Virgo. It's a very, to me, it's all about sort of institutions, social standing, doing the right things for the right reason. But I kind of feel like that's a very Leo trait in a way. You guys kind of have a tendency to be loving, kind, generous, all of that sort of stuff, and you do it for the greater good. So I sort of feel like, although this is in line with Leo's energy, I feel like it's a little bit maybe, January might be a little bit slower than Leo would like. Hierophant to me feels a little bit more staid or stuffy in a way than what Leo normally likes to sort of operate at. So, but I don't think that this is a bad card by any means. I feel like, your January might start off a little bit slow. You're doing things for others. You're taking care of the things that need to be, like, where you're socially responsible, or where you're responsible for certain aspects of your day-to-day life. You're just sort of taking care of those things in a very right way, in a very appropriate way. You might even find yourself in a position of sort of teaching or leading for some of you, which is a role that I think Leo naturally kind of gravitates towards and enjoys. But I do get a feeling that this feels a little bit, I don't know why. I feel like it feels a little bit stodgy to me. Like, I almost want to roll my eyes at this, even though it is significant. It is Major Arcana, so I think that it will be an impactful month. I think you guys will be doing good work. You'll be making a difference. You'll be important. You'll be valued, right? Which is all things that Leo loves to feel. But I feel like it sort of lacks the, I don't know why I'm sort of fixated on this. It sort of lacks the like pizzazz that Leo wants, is my feeling. So if some of you find yourself maybe a little bit bored, don't be completely, because I feel like this being the Hierophant card, it says to me that you guys will be doing important work, even if it feels like it's maybe day to day, or what you're obligated to do. If it's got that vibe to it, that's okay. Just keep with it. I think that it's what's the word? Like, it's sort of whatever we're doing in January is going to have maybe a little bit of a lasting effect, or a importance further down the road, and certainly an appreciation and a value, even if we as the Leos don't necessarily see it, right? Where we are kind of feeling a little bit like, this is a little bit dull, but that's okay. Keep with it, or keep doing what you're doing. Again, I will say too that with the Hierophant, there's like an intelligence, there's a higher learning, there's a like a maturity to this card that I feel like maybe might be a little bit boring for Leo, but that maturity pays off, or it's a good place for you to be. It's a sort of a position of authority, you know, leading others, or helping others, assisting others in maybe their own learning or their own skill set. And I think that that's a beneficial thing, even though you guys might want to be a little bit more playful than, say, January might allow you to be. All right, let's go to February and see what's going on in February. Oh, hey. All right, so this is the Nine of Swords. This is air energy, right? We're talking about our complementary energy. Nine of Swords is usually a kind of a negative card in the sense that it's based in like nightmares, unfound anxieties, fears. To me, this is not a sort of natural Leo state, and not something that you guys want to be where you would want to naturally gravitate towards. Air being more about, you know, the mind and thinking things through. I feel like Leo lives more in the moment. I feel like the energy of Leo wants to kind of be not necessarily impulsive in a bad way, but sort of like not necessarily planned out, right? And that might be some of what's frustrating about January, is this Hierophant is very like by the book, structured in a way. And so maybe Leo wants to break some rules in January, but doesn't feel as though they can, and that's fine. And playing by those rules and running that Hierophant energy, or doing the appropriate right thing for not only yourself, but for, you know, those around you, socially kind of thing, it has its benefit, and it has its positive attributes. When I'm looking at this Nine of Swords, though, to me it feels like, I don't know, something's off in February for you guys. I almost get the sense that it feels like this cat wants to run back to January. Like the way that he's positioned, he looks like he's like, fuck this, I want out, I want to go back to last month when things were good, right? There might be some sort of focus, there might be some sort of outside opinions that are placed upon you. I do get a feeling that these opinions might be critical. They could be critical because of whatever's going on here in the Hierophant. If we step into leadership roles, we might already even be in those leadership roles from 2020. I feel like as we're in them in January, we could be getting some sort of ridicule, some sort of negative feedback. And I will say this, I don't believe that the negative feedback is necessarily true. I feel like it's hater energy, if anything, if it, you know, troll energy, or people trolling us online, people being overly critical, because Leo has stepped out into the sort of spotlight or that role of leader in January. Somebody's got a problem with it in February, right? Somebody's got something to say, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And I feel like Leo is such a good-natured sign in the sense that you guys really do want to please everyone and really be appreciated from a kind of very genuine, heartfelt place. It's hard for maybe Leo to receive that criticism, especially when it appears as though you've been doing so much in January for maybe not only your own benefit, but for the benefit of others, really. That's kind of like how I see the Hierophant. It's about, you know, social standing and how we go out into the world and how we're perceived, and doing that from a very kind of grounded, sort of almost educational place, right? So with the Nine of Swords, don't be surprised if things feel a little bit off. Don't be surprised if you guys are a little bit worried, if you guys are sidetracked with some sort of negativity or somebody else's opinion, somebody else's viewpoints. Those things might slide in February. Thank God February is a short month, right? So we don't have to deal with it for super long periods of time. But if we do find ourselves struggling in February, this would be the reason why, is this energy. It could also be that some of us need to stop second guessing ourselves or doubting ourselves in February. Whatever like achievements or accomplishments we've made in January, we need to really trust those. And if we're not trusting them come February because something's not working out the way we thought or planned, that's fine. Just sort of be mindful of where you might be undermining yourself through self-doubt or fear or anxiety. Don't allow that to kind of get too pervasive into your space. Oh, and I don't know if I said this when I was shuffling. Each card represents for a month, right? But also everything as we go through the year, as we get further and further out, there's always options for things to be changed, right? Through free will and choice. So anything that I say here is not necessarily set in stone. It's just kind of a guidepost of what could potentially happen for the Leos as they go through their year. So don't expect that, oh, he said February is going to be like a stressful month. It doesn't have to be, Leo. You can be prepared for it by hearing this reading now and go, okay, I'm going to put my ducks in a row, you know, in January and really flow and move through February quite easily, not deal with the sort of outside opinions or whatever might be directed towards me. And the Hierophant definitely speaks to that idea of being on top of your game, having everything together, all your ducks in a row. So can Leo hold on to it in February would be the question, right? Don't let those that, you know, if we find ourselves fighting with loved ones or the people that we were taking care of in January, try not to let that get under your skin, Leo, even if you're feeling like maybe underappreciated or judged in some way, shape, or form. All right, so let's go to March and see what's going on in March. Okay, so things get back to normal in March. This is very much, to me, even though this is a water card, this to me is how I sort of see Leo's energy. It's the Ace of Cups. There's always this exuberance with aces or this enthusiasm and excitement. Cups is an emotional energy, right? The element of water. But when I look at this, this can also represent new love. And it's interesting because the Hierophant could be about weddings too at times or marriages, but I don't know if any of my Leos have any wedding plans for the month of January. But this love here to me is how I kind of see Leo's energy, in the sense that I feel like you guys always want to sort of lead with your best intentions. You always want to sort of lavishly give, right? There's a generosity to Leo that's kind of unparalleled when it comes to other signs. And it's sort of like this free flow. This is kind of where you guys would like to be in January, but you maybe can't due to societal norms or responsibilities. But I feel like with the Hierophant, you guys do your duty, you do your due diligence, you take care of your stuff. February, you maybe feel a little bit off your game, but things are back in the flow in March. The focus here with the Ace of Cups to me is, you know, it being an ace card, there's an enthusiasm, like I said, and an excitement, but the number one of the ace to me feels like the focus is on Leo at this month, right? Our own emotional well-being, our own contentment. You know, we can't necessarily please everybody. We might learn that in February, so it's about pleasing ourselves come March. But when Leo is pleasing themselves, I feel like there's more resources for Leo to then give so generously to others. So we'll see how the cards play out. But I kind of feel like that's a really beautiful place for you guys to be in March. It also says that it re-energizes you, rebuilds you. I love all the lotuses there on the ground around the cup. The cup is golden. To me, that's a very Leonine color. So I feel like this Ace of Cups feels like we are back on track. We feel connected. We feel like we're serving a purpose. We feel emotionally fulfilled. We feel even excited about what's to come or what's on our plate. And there's a joy there and a room for like even maybe spiritual growth through emotions, that sort of a thing. So let's go to April. I love it. So April is the King of Wands. This to me is very much Leo energy. You can't get any more Leo than that cat sitting there on the cube, right? And he's got his tail like just sort of lightly wrapped around that wand. Now, kings to me are about, the kings themselves represent as swords, right? But then the wands is the element of fire, which is Leo energy. And then we're talking about the King of Wands, which to me, I associate the King of Wands with Leo, ideally. Knight of Wands is more Sag energy to me. So when I'm looking at this is kind of like us, that Ace of Cups in March, that reconnection to ourselves, that exploration of our own spiritual growth through the feelings of our emotions, the free flow, the sharing that we have during the month of March. Whatever we might have struggled with in February, I think really forces us to kind of be present and available to ourselves first and foremost in March. By April, we're really feeling ourselves, you know, and I mean that in a good way. I mean that we're understanding our value, what we give, we're being maybe seen again or feeling like we're being seen. I will say this, with that Hierophant in the January position, I feel like we are being acknowledged, but it's not hitting home for some reason. That's kind of that thing where, even though the Hierophant is the only major arcana we have in the first 4 months here, it feels like the acknowledgement or the validation we may be receiving doesn't feel sufficient enough. I feel like in April, we actually connect to that acknowledgement, whether that's coming from ourselves or from, you know, the outside environment and those that are around us. There's an appreciation that we finally feel like we can understand, that we do appreciate. And from that place, I think that it's a very creative space for us in the month of April. I think that there's an opportunity to not only get, you know, our mind and our spirit together to kind of co-create and work together, especially with that Ace of Cups the month before, which is the more emotional side of things. We're able to kind of really channel that energy. There's a, what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a productivity or a manifestational power, I think, to the King of Wands. Wands is always about the spirit or taking action, right? And moving in ways to gain what we want sort of from deep within our spirit. And I think that that comes up or bubbles up in that Ace of Cups card the month prior. So we really start to understand in April what we can do, what we can create, what we desire, and how much we deserve it. And I like that feeling, right? Leo's never one, I will say this, Leo is never one to not sort of see their positive aspects. And I think that that's really a powerful thing that a lot of people or maybe other signs don't necessarily always have access to. And so I think that come April, you guys will be back in that space of really feeling good about yourself, feeling in control, feeling deserving, feeling ready to, you know, take whatever it is that you want. And so April will be a really great month is my feeling for you. All right, so let's go to May. May is the Six of Wands. Again, we have more Wands energy, which I think is great. I feel like the Six of Wands is usually about celebration, kind of coming together and enjoying everything that we've sort of either put together, created, worked towards, built upon. So I feel like this is a carryover from April. I think that we're still feeling good. I think that we feel victorious, capable. We're feeling empowered. We're still riding on the, I don't want to say the coattails, but we're still kind of, I feel like March is really where it kicks in for you guys at a personal level. And then April is the sort of time when it's not only just personal, but it's also kind of coinciding or dovetailing with the external, like the external is also lining up. And then I feel like the Six of Wands to me in May is sort of like the external celebrating us. And then what I mean by that is it's sort of like, first it's internal, then it's a mixture of both, and then it's external solely in May, where the outside environment, situations in our lives, people that are talking to us, whatever is going on, we are getting that sort of acknowledgement, that validation in this Wands energy, right? Which is celebratory, which is positive, which resonates with Leo, which Leo can understand, appreciate, and value, right? And so to me, I feel like there's going to be maybe a playful nature, more of a focus on having fun, maybe more of a focus on feeling a little bit more impulsive or able to be more impulsive and have a good time, making decisions in the split second based on, you know, just initial desire, all of that. And that kind of to me is very much where Leo's comfortable and where Leo likes to be versus like weighted down with responsibilities and things like that. And I feel like that's the difference between what we have here versus what we have here. All right, so let's go to, what are we at, May, June. So June, and Leo is what, you guys are July, August, I believe. All right, so we have the Two of Swords. It's funny how there's these weird patterns of being conflicted down this set of months. All right, Two of Swords, again, air energy. Twos always represent sort of deepening of connections. To me, it can be about something not being completely clear, not being able to make a decision, not feeling like we have all the information in the month of June. There is an opportunity here to trust our intuition. I feel that with this card, as far as that moon hanging above us. Let me just look at this. I don't know why this feels like I just keep hearing it's a big choice, it's a big choice, it's a big choice. So I kind of don't know what's going on, what you guys are choosing. You'll have to apply this where it fits in your life, but there's something that it might require some patience. It might require some time. You may have to stay out of your sort of worry again. I feel like this is something personal to the Leos. That's also the 2 aspect of this card. It's like sort of listening to our own selves over anybody else, listening to, and it's interesting too, because we've got that external nature where it's a mixture of internal and external in that King of Wands. And then to me, that 6 of Wands feels very external, like enjoying the external gratification of, you know, people validating us or opportunities to celebrate, us being acknowledged or seen. The 2 of Swords to me feels like, again, we're going to have to go back inward. We're going to have to fight with maybe our thoughts, with our mind around a decision about what the right thing is to do, not feeling like we necessarily have all of the information, having to maybe trust our own intuition more so than what we're being shown out in the outside world. Because of that, it's going to drive us into this state of being more self-reliant. That's also the 2 nature, where it's sort of coupling or coming closer to our own self mentally, our own understanding mentally. We might struggle with this choice or this decision for a little while throughout the month. We might be looking and seeking answers in this month, trying to sort of also remain patient and allow those, like that's kind of sort of to me the key of the 2 of Swords, is that element of patience of, although we may feel uncomfortable during this month with not feeling like we have all of the facts or in a situation or knowing exactly what to do, because that's the thing. I kind of feel like Leo wants to be more in the moment, similar to like the 6 of Wands or even that Ace of Cups to me feels very much in the moment, that water flowing out of that cup. And so this 2 of Swords feels like we can't be in the moment. We have to kind of pause and wait before we can make the decision, before we can move forward, before we can depart from a situation or free ourselves in a way, right? And so again, we might feel stuck again. And so just bear with it during this month. Let June kind of play out. I do feel like the information will come. It'll probably come not only from your intuition, which is that moon in that card, but also like listen for those pieces, right? But also something's gonna, I kind of get a feeling like something's gonna come out in the wash in June too, in our environment that will help us to, in late June, that will help us to better make this decision. So this sort of feeling stuck will not stay, is my feeling as I'm looking at this. All right, so the next card is July. This is getting us into Leo season. So is that 1 card or 2? I felt like 2. So this is the King of Cups. I love this. So we have another king, another like regal cat, and it's sitting right underneath the Ace of Cups. So we have the Ace of Cups underneath, but the King of Cups underneath the Ace. It's kind of interesting to me because we have these sort of themes. We have 2 swords here and 2 cups here. I love it. And then we also have 2 kings here. So to me, this is about making, I feel like, because kings, again, I will go back to what I said about the Wands card. The King of Wands is, the king energy is the energy of the element of air, right? The swords. So any indecision, where's my pointer? Any indecision and struggle that we're having here, we kind of free it up here emotionally. We sort of start to look at things and understand from a very, not only emotional, but also intellectual place, what we need, what we deserve, what we require, and what's working and what's not. And from there, we can make very clear, decisive, like emotionally sound decisions in our life to move ourselves forward at that point, right, in July. This is also the beginning of, late July will be the beginning of Leo season. I do get a distinct feeling seeing that boat. I want to say this, and I don't know which Leos are listening out there, but there could be a move going on in this month for you guys, because I feel like that boat is taking my Leo away or taking a Leo away to somewhere. So this might only be specifically for one of you, but I feel like as I'm looking at this card, that boat is moving. So there could be a distance that's being traveled to. That's not a normal King of Cups card, but, or King of Cups meaning, but I feel like for some of you, that could be happening, actual physical movement, either via travel, business, you could be moving homes, Leo. But whatever, and that might be the choice that's happening in the 2 of Swords the month prior, is like getting all of that together, not feeling like you have all the information, feeling a little bit stuck, feeling a little bit uncomfortable because things are in flux and change. By July, things feel back to normal, at least. And when I say feel, I mean that emotionally too, but also mentally. You guys are clear, you're precise, you're working off of what you know to be true for yourself, both through feelings and through intellect. You are, I kind of feel like just in charge and feeling good about it, ready for the changes, able to be loving, able to be demonstrative of that love, able to be sort of, you know, I wouldn't call Leo gentle per se, but I feel like there's a vulnerability to the King of Cups, to any of the Cups cards to me, that I feel like is really nice. And so it allows you guys to be present and aware and seen in a way. And in that way, you're not vulnerable like in a bad way, but you're giving a more truer version of yourself, similar to like that King of Wands energy. I feel like the King of Wands energy here is the most leonine card that we have here, but this also feels like, you know, I don't know why, but the image that I'm getting in my mind's eye is like, you know, when the King of Wands kind of steps on a thorn and he turns his paw over and he shares that with whoever's with him to help him remove it, that's the King of Cups. Does that make sense? Like we get to see the softer side of Leo or the more vulnerable side of Leo, but in a very beautiful, sweet, genuine sort of way in this month of July. And, you know, like I said, it is Leo season. So these are the times when we want to be channeling or emanating who we really are, right? So that we can be seen and appreciated and feeling that at an emotional level. All right, so let's go to August. All right, August, get it. So August, is it July, August? That's Leo season. It must be, right? Yeah, because June, July is Cancer. So this is the 10 of Cups. This is a beautiful card. Again, we've got this Cups energy happening right after the King of Cups. So we're in charge of, you know, we're in charge of where we're at emotionally in the month prior, and then we get to benefit from the opportunity of that, of having done the work, having sat in the sort of seat of power, having felt secure. All of that sort of brings about a month in August where I feel like everything's good, it's emotionally abundant, we're able to provide, we're able to fulfill our roles, we feel really complete. Tens are about completions for not only ourselves, but everything else sort of in our environment. So I kind of feel like we could be closing up some chapters or just really feeling like we're actually making a difference. We're taking care. The work that we've done throughout the year is really sort of showing itself to us. We might understand whatever was going on in January through that Hierophant energy. By here, this 10 of Cups speaks to the idea of whatever we were doing back here may finally show off or show up as what's the word, like you know, I'm trying to like, when you reap, you know, you plant your seeds in January, we harvest here in August. Is that August? Yes, June, July, August. Okay, so whatever we're doing here that we were kind of maybe a little bit like, this isn't so much fun or whatever, but I'll do it because I'm supposed to and it's the right thing to do. It comes back to us here as kind of the vibe that I'm getting, is what I'm feeling. So enjoy your August. Sorry, dry throat. Enjoy your August and reap the benefits of all of that, sharing those benefits and being generous and in that natural Leo state of where you guys like to be. This will be also your month. I feel like this summer, July and August are going to be really beautiful for you. All right, so let's go to September. Love it. All right, September is the Knave of Pentacles. Knaves always bring an enthusiasm, a youthfulness, and also an excitement to whatever they're doing. There's always an ability to learn with knave cards, right? Sometimes they bring new messages or new insights, but I kind of feel like with this, it's about sort of maybe looking at expanding our Pentacles being about the material realm. This could be about expanding whatever it is that we desire materially, right? And learning how to go about doing that with an emphasis on the future. And the reason why I say that is I feel like his face is really pinpointed towards the future, this cat in this card. I feel like he's really looking to the future. He's figuring out what is it that I need to do to sort of create more of whatever it is that I want to have. So, and that could be anything in the sense of that could be money, that could be power, that could be, you know, loving relationships or better friendships, whatever Leo's working on, which in each of you Leos might be working on something different. but this Knave of Pentacles says to me that there's an opportunity here to begin to get enthusiastic about the idea of beginning to build that for yourself, beginning to sort of, again, replanting seeds. But what I feel like is going on here with this Knave of Pentacles is we are aware that we are planting seeds in this month versus in the Hierophant, where we're doing what's socially responsible or what we're expected to do or what we know to be right to do. We're not necessarily aware of maybe the impact or the importance of what's going on in January. Does that make sense? Where here I feel like this Knave, he understands he may not necessarily know everything, but he's willing to learn and he's willing to expand. He's willing to get out there. And I'm just using this as examples, but like, you know, plow the field, plant the seeds, and watch everything grow and tend to it and watch the evolution of that, right? And I think that the distinct feeling that I'm getting from this card is that the 8 months previous of this year will have taught Leo that. Those 2 months where we see, because I'm only really seeing 2 months that so far out of these 9 months that have any issues or sort of, I wouldn't even call them struggles. It just sort of feels like, you know, the energy doesn't feel like it's flowing as easily, right? So that would be obviously this 9 of Swords and the 2 of Swords. Other than that, this guy here feels like he's like, okay, I know the year that I've had so far, and these are the things that I've learned, and this is what I'm going to take with me and sort of channel into this new venture. I'm ready to learn, I'm ready to experience, I'm ready to grow. And all of that is sort of, and again, like in whatever we want to grow in, Leo, right? So keeping that optimism and that open mind and that willingness to learn is going to serve you well into the next few months and maybe into 2022. So let's look at, where are we at? That was September, yes? Yes, so we're in October now. Sorry guys, my brain's like a little bit fried. So we have the 9 of Pentacles. So I like this because we have the Knave happening in the month prior. The 9 is about sort of personal completion through finance and material wealth, abundance, harvesting, all of that sort of stuff. It is about self-reliance in a lot of ways. There's usually a singular woman depicted in a field of like grapes. We have that field of grapes. She always has a falcon on her hand. We have this falcon here. So to me, I feel like whatever we're setting about in September, we can actually start, it starts to bear fruit for us quite quickly, to be honest. And I think that's some of the optimism that we have here, not only in the Knave, but also the beautiful sort of emotional stuff that's going on in the months prior of this contentment that I feel like starting at this King of Swords, or sorry, King of Cups, and moving into this 10 of Cups. This gratitude and appreciation that we also experience here in August really kind of sets the tone for this Knave to come in, or this energy of the optimism of the Knave to come in to sort of help to build us into this productivity and abundance that we see in the 9 of Pentacles. Now, the 9 of Pentacles, all of this Pentacles energy is about getting your money right, or getting your, you know, your material world right. If it's a job, if it's a relationship, whatever it is, we're like looking to deepen it. We're looking to expand upon it. We're looking to solidify it. Pentacles energy is very grounding. It's going to move, and it's going to sort of, these will be the 2 months where I want to say, like, how do I want to say, like, productive growth can take place in those areas. So I would stay conscious of that, stay open to that, and start to see probably pretty quick results from that. And I think it stems back to these Cups cards here, and also this Ace of Cups here. And this month here too is really good for you guys, like this King of Wands. It's like really feeling yourself in that month. All right, the next card is November. So let's see what's going on in November. Damn. Okay, Leo. So we got the Wheel of Fortune, your second major arcana card of the year. Again, significant month. The wheel is about whatever we focus on and put our attention to, whatever we put our energy into, is kind of what we're going to get back. That we're in communication sort of with the universe, or the, you know, the powers that be. Are we in alignment? Are we in disalignment? Right? And I kind of feel like you could see this a little bit as a, with that 9 of Swords and the 2 of Swords, we go in and out of disalignment throughout the year, right? There's a couple of moments here for Leos where you guys might struggle in February and then again in June, right? And so I feel like this wheel is sort of a bigger version of that, in the sense that it's showing us, okay, now we know how to remain positive, how to stay focused, how to channel our, not only our cups energy, right, our emotional well-being and abundance, but also we're working on our pentacles or our material well-being and abundance. And then we want to dump all of that into the wheel, if that makes sense, come November. We want to like put all of that gratitude, appreciation, abundance, emotional well-being, all of this stuff that Leo has hopefully experienced through this year. We put that into the wheel and we see if that's in line with sort of the powers that be. The wheel will always give us back exactly sort of what we focus on or what we put in. So if we're putting in negativity and frustration, well, then we're going to probably get negativity and frustration back from the wheel. And it's usually in a rather big scale or obvious scale. That's how I view the Wheel of Fortune, because it's a major arcana card. But I get a feeling that this is really about Leo's learned some lessons this year, in the sense that you guys are aware of your focus, your intentions, your emotions, your, why you do what you do. I gotta say this too. I kind of feel like the significance of this Hierophant in January, like what we're doing in January, and then the sort of the receipt or the awareness that we get around here. I mean, we might get some of that awareness here in the Ace of Cups, but I really feel like there's an understanding that takes place, or something here with this Ten of Cups that really opens us up to starting to create more. And then we get to like sort of play with bigger energies in November, and bigger realizations, bigger possibilities. And it's like, step up to the wheel and spin it and get a prize, Leo. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. All right, so let's look at December and see how your guys' year might end out. I love it. So we're at the Knave of Wands. So this is, to me, is like atypical, like playful Leo energy. Now this card has shown up a lot in some of the previous signs. Just, I want to say, I can't remember who, but 2 different signs, at least, maybe 3. But sometimes this cat feels playful to me, and sometimes this cat feels like, I can't remember, in one of the readings, I can't remember which sign it was, he felt like he was building something out of nothing. To me, this cat feels playful, right? He feels like December is a time for where we can get back to being youthful, excited, enjoying those that we love, enjoying what we've built. There's an opportunity here, I kind of feel like, certainly in these last 4 months, we're starting from this Knave where we kind of start to build something. We start to see the fruition of that. We want to build it bigger, and we start to focus on that. And then we get to enjoy the possibility and the playfulness of that. I love that you're ending the year out in a Wands energy, which is also fire. So that's very comfortable and familiar to you. There's an awareness. There's I feel like it's almost like you guys are ready to tackle the next year. There will be opportunities for still learning here, but we're learning sort of, at Wands being about the spirit, we're learning sort of maybe a little bit more about what's even more in line with our spirit, right? Maybe 2020, I know 2021 has been a rough year for everyone, right? But I feel like 2021, as I look at these cards, is about Leo learning a little bit more about who they are and what they feel, right? We see a lot of Cups energy here, really positive, significant cups in that Ace, that King, and that 10, right? To me, I love those. We also have that beauty of the King of Wands there. So to me, that's also about sort of not only is it Wands, which is natural Leo fire energy, but I also feel like there's an appreciation, a self-appreciation that's going on there that lines us up a little bit. The celebration that we see in the Six of Wands, there's a little bit of a couple of months where we're a little bit confused or not sure what to do, but those seem more like, hurdles, not roadblocks, right? So it's not like it's the Tower or anything like that. It's just these things where you might have to be patient at certain moments throughout the year. Wait for the information to come. Don't let other people's opinions affect you. But by the end of the year, it's kind of like this Knave, to me, feels like Leo gets a better sense of who they are and what they desire, and they're also able to sort of explore that even more so going into 2021. Whatever we're creating in the last 3 or 4 months of this year, 2022, whatever they're creating in the last 4 months of this year is going to really begin to play out in 2022, is the feeling that I get, especially with those 2 Knaves there. And I almost feel like because they're Knaves, there might be some unexpected surprises. And I mean that in a very positive way, coming in 2022 for the sign of Leo. Like, where you guys are like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And I think that that's coming from that Wheel of Fortune energy. Like, where I know that Leos feel, what's the word? Like, Leos, the one wonderful thing about Leonine energy is that you guys have a confidence about you that just comes sort of naturally, right? And that's really beautiful. And I think that that's what sort of also produces the quick results that we see here in this Nine of Pentacles from this Knave of Pentacles, right? In these 2 months here. But I think that there's something that you guys put into the Wheel of Fortune in November that even surprises you guys, if that makes sense. Maybe in 2022 somewhere where you're like, whoa. And it's almost like a repeat of this cycle where we were doing the Hierophant, we didn't really realize the magnitude of what we were doing in January that really shows up in the latter months or in the mid months of the year. I hope that makes sense. I hope that you can utilize this reading. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up sign. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like. You can always message me at the Facebook business page. You can cross platform and, subscribe on the YouTube channel and like the Facebook business page so you can find me in both places. And please share this with your Leonine friends and let them know that, the type of year that they could potentially have. Again, these are loose interpretations of each month. One card cannot clearly define an entire month of living, but it can give us an overview of sort of, what's out there and what's available to us. And it appears as though there's quite a bit available to Leo this year. So I hope you guys have a wonderful year. Please join me back here. Not only do I have a daily forecast every day on the YouTube channel, but you can also come back and join every month as we do the readings for each month for each sign. All right, thank you guys and have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.